me dead same time I say when we there in the van. Me don't go see Camiel head go so.
My mother and father tell me say, Tony, go on and eat in bed.
We go up on corner.
We had to cool down. The go out there, you see all the 2-3 man on the ground spread out.
Politics comes a far way. But today there are still misleading stories, and the messengers know the truth. This is more a clarification post, and if you think that I am lying, you can take it up in the comment section. My experience. Back in the 70s and most part of the 80s, you have to be careful of the colors, the symbols, and what you say out of your mouth in public. There was a lot of stronghold communities and people who took politics to another level. My brothers and sisters was confused, and this confusion came from some of these political leaders, MP, councillors, caretakers, and sometimes police and soldiers who took sides. But most of these arrogance in politics is not around anymore. Most of these borders are torn down in a sense where Labour Right and PMP can live in the same community. They can walk together to the polling station and vote without being beaten or shot down.
Bay Farm Road. And in the election time there, you see there are a lot of shooting. My mother and father tell me say, Tony, go on and eat in bed.
In the mid-70s and most of the 80s, it was not so. Today, there are people trying to uphold the culture. Them try to use psychs, to corrupt the people, them, to bring back these type of things in the island. And one of the easiest way to do that is to keep reminding people, especially of 1980. Member of Parliament was no exception where the war is concerned. Even Michael Manley was injured on the campaign. Mike Henry was shot but survived. Ryan McGann was murdered. But there are people who tend to carry the story, putting it in young people's head in a tainted or fabricated way to stir up hate and anger. When I speak of 1980, is in a historical way to let people know we should never go back to these times, and not in a way to stir up violence, hatred, and revenge. Like people speak on this topic with ulterior motives. These people are not making it better for Jamaica, but have an intention to take us right back from where we uplift ourselves from. We came a far way by making political violence a thing of the past, putting our difference behind by moving forward. Not one time had one party lie down and allow another party to mistreat them. It was always attacking and defending where both parties is concerned. As usual, when it get close to election, you hear the slogans of both JLP and PMP. Psalms of victory, bells of freedom. Psalms of victory, deliverance is near. That was a JLP slogan, telling the people that they are under bondage and they are there to free them. And that's all they said, deliverance is near. From the PMP camp, we hear, my leader Banya, my leader Banya. What they are saying, the comrade leader were born in Jamaica, but the opposition leader was not from here. He was born in Boston, in the USA. So the bells was ringing and the fists and the fingers was throwing up. They would lay with the buses that go into rally and stone them. But throwing words and stones at people going to rally was not an unfamiliar behavior in Jamaica. We experienced a little of that in the 70s. But it was not long before the new political culture arrived. This is my personal experience of the bloody 80s. Where I was living at the time, 41 Beans Road, which is situated in front of Scarlet Road. It is a T-junction where Scarlet Road runs into Dudney Road. A road we used to play, run up and down, suddenly becomes a borderline, where men would stay from the top of Scarlet Road and fire shots down to Beans Road, firing wild at people. Brethren, just before the election fever, everyone was living good. We go compound Crescent man come Beans Road, Balcom Drive. We'd walk up and down Holt Road, Dudley Road, all around the place. But one night, something strange happened. We saw men walking from the top of Scarlet Road coming down to Binns Road. And when they got to the middle of Scarlet Road, we saw firearms. Then we heard shot. And they just start attacking people. We were shocked because we never know for what reason. These attackers were people we knew, we hung out with, we go party with. And all of a sudden, they turned our enemy. A lot of persons got injured because it was sudden. And next day, a car drove up and just started firing wild at persons. Men got caught because this is something we never expect to happen. But as soon as these attacks happened, the men on our street got alert and start putting themselves in a defensive mode. There was no guns on my street, so our only defense was stones and bottles, pickaxe stick, boards, and later on, the guys get creative by making homemade handgun shotguns. But trust me, the first part of it was big stone and bottle versus guns. Handgun, pine tree aid, bushmaster. That's when I witnessed man getting licked down with stone with gun in them hand. Men all off the borderline with stone and buckle. Stone was flinging effectively. The GLP would say the PMP are the attacker and the PMP would say the GLP are the attacker. But if you listen keenly and take notes, when you do the addition to the maths, you will find the answer to the question that is in the air. The general election war consists of ballot box stealing, open votes. People want to see what you vote for, so they move the curtain. People getting notice to remove from their community if they are suspected of voting or putting the X at the wrong place. People were murdered to prevent them from voting, or if they suspect you vote against their preference. Communities were attacked. Buses were attacked, shut up, and some were even burned. Most community in those days was stronghold community, and the only way to get them to switch from their leader and is to do something unorthodox, which could be the war. So moving on. In 1980, this was where the polling station was, right on this veranda here. In the heights of voting, a car came up. Men alighted from the vehicle with high-power weapons, demanding the ballot box. They had gone and everything, so the people could not have done anything. So they managed to get the box. On their way back to the car, gunshot rang out. And hear me here now, see me see this. Gunshot rang out. One of the men that was stealing the ballot box got injured. His friends helped him to get in the car and left with the ballot box. I spent half of the election term in Olympic Garden and the other half in Jonestown with my mom. As soon as the war get in full motion, it was not about GLP attacking anymore. It was about the PMP attacking the GLP community and the GLP attacking the PMP community. Right there, the spirit of politics was upon the youths, the young youths in the communities, the inner city communities. They went on a killing spree. So in that year 1980, there was no saint in this political activity. In speaking of the political activists, everybody turned murderer, both PMP and Labour right. So it was not about who started anymore. It's about what was taking place. And based on what you have learned about my truthful experience, you can now place yourself on the scene and get the full understanding what took place. The way our politicians assure the youths that when it comes to election time, you're safe. You can do whatever you want to do. Both sides, Labour and PMP. That people that had a gross with people back then, they would have go easy. Because if them hurt them when it's not politics time, then they could easily go to jail. So they would drop them word, wait until election come. Not one of them run from Boya. And those words utter in both GLP and PMP communities. I don't use a broad brush when it comes to politics. No man are perfect, but I don't use a broad, because they are good politicians, Back then, they were good politicians. And to date, they are good politicians. But because the broad brush draw, the rumors the lies, you're not going to see them that easily, especially if you don't have a mind of your own. And remember, we are Talk Truth Telly. Men is not our role model. It is their works. Bruce Golden did some good works, but when you balance it, you would want to know if he had done more good than bad. But he had done some good works. The Honorable Michael Manley had done some excellent work. And I can show you some great works that the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange had done. There's a lot of alleged when it comes to her name, but there are facts of good works that she did. So 1980 was a very, very bad year for Jamaica. Camiel was murdered by a soldier on Collins Road. Danny Charlene was murdered on Bay Farm Road, vicinity St. Patrick's School. But the greatest thing, people had got wise up. And at one point, they put all these things behind them and decided to live in a way where the PMP and the GLP could walk together inside the polling station and vote, even in their colors. No one tend to harm them. And this happened not only in the GLP era, but also in the PMP era. We live to see Rima men come down to jungle and party. Tivoli Guard men come to Arnett Gardens and party. At one point, the political violence came to haunt the football team. And that's when George Pang risked his life to travel from Arnett Garden to Tivoli Garden to meet with Dodos and the people of the community, not knowing what the outcome will be. And that movement bring the war to an end. I will give you details on that in another post. And this brings you to the end of part 1. In part 2, I will give you more on the political violence. You will hear more on the vehicle that was shot up by a soldier, where Camiel Marrow was shot out of her head. You will hear about Danny Charlene and how he was murdered on Bay Farm Road. You will hear about the pickaxe stick that marked deliverance. The soldiers use it to beat citizens in my community. These and more. Keep watching Talk Truth Telly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to meet me in the comment section. Talk Truth, Talk Truth, Talk Truth, people. Talk Truth.
Yeah, man, you're in tune to Talk Truth Telly, scene. Yeah, man, and this is Shalom. You can't see this one on your telly. Talk Truth, people. Talk Truth. Talk Truth, people. Talk the truth. Run it. Talk the truth, talk the truth, and we are tell all the youths. Listen. Bet you didn't know Talk Truth would I tell the truth. Bet you didn't believe we could I make it through. Oh. Well, if you thought Talk Truth wouldn't last forever, then baby, Talk Truth got news for you. Talk Truth got news for you. Talk Truth got news for you. Talk Truth.